Hi everybody, this is Keith Curtis. I'm here to show some improvements that have been made on the next version of the Pintool mod script for Roll20. Let's just go ahead and we'll call up the interface or the command panel with !Pintool. And if you have watched the previous video, you'll notice the first changes. I have gotten rid of the little double pluses on each button, which were supposed to toggle between just handling selected pins and all pins on the map, because now Roll20 has added the ability to, by holding the shift key down, to select multiple pins. So it's no longer necessary to affect all pins on the map or just a single pin. You can select any number of pins to act upon. So we have the size buttons up at the top. I believe those are the same. I have also added under visible. The pin can be set for visible to GM, visible to all players. I've also added show name and hide name, so you can hide the names of pins or you can show the names of pins. Block quote as player text, I explained in the previous video. I will link the previous video in the notes down at the bottom of the video. Tooltip image. That refers to whether or not you are showing the image of the handout that is in the description of the pin. For instance, I can turn that on and you can see that the particular handout that these images come from all have a little map pin image. I can turn that on and off. I can also set it to a custom image, and in that case it will prompt you to put in the URL of a Roll20 image. We can also, if I turn that on, we can also make it, we can change the size that pin tool or that image appears at. This particular image is already at maximum size, so it really can't, the XL really doesn't do anything, but I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. Display the pin from handout or custom was there before. And now we're getting into the new things. Roll20 has added a lot of new customization options. Most of these are only available to pro users, but a few are available to all. But since you're watching a video on mod scripts, I'm going to assume that the viewer is a pro or elite user and able to use mod scripts. So one thing we can do now is we can choose between customization mode. We can display as an icon, we can display as an image, or we can display as text. And if we set as text, we might want to set the text. We can set up to 3 characters. So if you had a dungeon that you were attempting to create a key for, you could type in A1. And that would put that in there. We also have the ability to set the pin text from title. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch to a different map to show that. Let's go with this one here. So I can select all of the pins from this Sinister Abbey. So I'm just going to select all the pins, and I'm going to choose all of the pins to be, I'm going to set the text to nothing. So all of them will be blank at the moment. We have the ability to set now the pin text from the title of the pin. And that title of the pin can come from something you have custom put in, or it can come from the linked handout. So if I click the button Set Pin Text from Title, it will go through and it will look at each title and it will make its best guess as to what that should be. So in this case, every pin on this page is got a letter, a period, a space, and then the name. It's going to assume that the alphanumeric character is the important one, and it can do that up to 3 characters. But if I click Pin Text from Title, it will go ahead and it will check all of them. I do need to show text. So if I select show text, pin text from title, and it's, there we go. There we are. It just took a second. So it has gone through and it has labeled every single pin on here from the title. And that would be useful. For instance, now you could turn the names off if you wanted and just use the numbers, which would refer to a key. In this case, I'm going to show them. We can also set any of the icon presets that come with a pin. So if I select a single pin here and I want to give it a particular icon, I can quickly swap through, and you can do that with multiple pins at once and quickly set them. You can also change shapes. So there's the basic teardrop shape, circle shape, diamond shape, square shape. There is a control panel here area where you can set the pin color. So we can set that to blue, purple, black, white, blue, and we'll set it back to the red. You can go back here to visible and you can set that to show to all or show to GM. You can also set them to transparent, which would remove the color altogether, or you can set a custom color. So let's say you wanted a color that is not on here. You click custom color, and this would be in hexadecimal format. Let's go ahead and set 555555. That's kind of a dark gray, but I don't want it to be completely transparent. The custom color can handle 8 characters, the last 2 characters of which would be an opacity setting. So let's go ahead and we'll set the opacity of that to about 0.66 and click submit. And you will see that although they are gray now, they are a transparent gray. So you can set transparency on that. Let's go ahead and we're going to, well, let's take a look here at the next feature here before we go on further into that. We can also set a pin image. So for instance, if I wanted this pin to have a particular image, the first option is to either take it from a graphic. So I would select a pin and a graphic. And if you are going to set pins, you can use any number of pins and they can all take their image from a single graphic. So if I click from graphic, that particular image goes into the pins. So if you have a city map or a world map that has an image that you want to use to indicate cities or taverns or whatever, you can just have that graphic out and you can quickly transfer them. You can also set, again, by just pasting in the URL of a Roll20 image. And to remember to get a Roll20 image, you just press Z to bring in the preview. You right click, you copy image address, and then you can just paste that in. The last thing I want to show is a style library. And for this, if you have something like a city map or a overland map, or even any kind of map where you want graphics that you or settings for pins that you want to repeat over and over again, you would create a page called Pin Library. Any pin you put on a page called Pin Library becomes part of your pin style library. And you can see on here I have a whole bunch of city pins that I have created. I have the name of the pin, and then in square brackets I have a list of keywords, all comma separated, and this indicates that they will, oops, that one has a double comma in it. Let's fix that right now. Don't want a blank keyword. But anyway, what this does is it will, when you click Style Library, it will look through the pin library, and let's just go ahead and click that, and you will see that it has gone through all of the pins there, and it has looked for those keywords. So if I want to find all pins that say something about food, there. I have taverns, tea houses, coffee houses, and let's go to back to my city map. All right. So for instance, I have changed this carriage stop to something I really don't want. I don't like my carriage stops to have the name of the carriage stop because it's kind of busy. And of course, I don't want it to be a teardrop that says A1. So I'm going to click the pin library that says transportation. There we are. And you will see that I have any number of transportation related styles. So I could set that to be a lighthouse, a harbor, a skyship, or in this case, I wanted to set it to be a carriage stop. And the carriage stop, I have turned the name off on the pin library page so that when I choose carriage stop, it doesn't display the name of the pin. Let's go ahead and I will unset several of these. So let's go back to the main menu, and I'm just going to tell these to be icon, which is the default. And they're teardrops, and I want to set these up to be a shrine and a tavern. So I can go to the style library. For the shrine, I would click religion, and I would look for good shrine. There we are, good shrine. These are alphabetical. And for the tavern, I would click food or drink, and I would choose tavern. So you can set up an entire map of specialized map pins. The particular ones we're seeing now is a set I created for the marketplace. These are all color-coded, and there's about 100 of them. But that brings us back to, if I go back to the main menu, those are pretty much the new features. There are a couple of other smaller features, but they are, place from handout was described in the previous video. But if you want to see what else is available, all of these buttons are basically just macros, and you can create your own macros and save them into your macro collection in Roll20. If you want to see information about the macro code or anything about the program, you can just click the help button that appears in the title of the control panel, and we open the help handout, and there is all of the documentation with all of the commands that you might want to use to set up a particular sequence or action that you want to perform. I believe that is pretty much all of it. I am working on some alignment commands for the next version of the script, but that is, I've run into a Roll20 bug that I am trying to see if I can get resolved. But those are pretty much all of the changes that have been made to Pintool. You can use all of the commands and actions that would normally only be available under customization by opening up and going through for each pin and changing those. So that is the newest version of Pintool. This is available in one click on Roll20. You can contact me through the thread or through a private message on Roll20 if you have any questions or run into any issues. Thank you very much.